These are video notes for 1B arithmetic sequences. And what an arithmetic sequence is it's a sequence that changes by a common difference each term. And you can think of common difference as adding the same amount each time or subtracting the same amount each time. So here's our pattern. We have 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. So the first thing is I can look at this and think to myself, what is the common difference? Well, in this case, to go from 3 to 5, we're adding 2. To go to 5 to 7, we're adding 2. 7 to 9, adding 2. 9 to 11, adding 2. So our common difference in this sequence is 2, because we're adding 2 every time. And here are a couple different ways that we can represent this arithmetic sequence. We could show it as a table, as a graph, or as an explicit function, or as a recursive function. So if we have it as a table, we have n on the left side, that's our term number, and f of n, that's the value of the term, or the function. 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the first term, this right here, this 3, that's our first term when n is equal to 1. Well, that's going to be 3 then. Our second term was 5. And our third term is 7. All right, notice that each time it's going up by 2. That's our common difference. If we put it in a graph on our x-axis, we'll go by 5, 0, 5, 10, 15. Right, this is the output, the function. Here's the n value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, in the first term it was 3, which is right here. Second term was 5. Third term was 7. Fourth term was 9. Fifth term was 13. And so you can see it's going up consistently by 2 each time. That's the common difference. So it kind of forms a straight line shape. And now to put it in an explicit function, you want to think about, we know what the common difference is, but we also have to figure out what is the starting point, or what is the 0 term, right here, what is the 0 term? And sometimes they'll tell you that the 0 term is a certain number, but in this case we know what the first term, when n equals 1, but we don't yet know what it is when n equals 0. But we can very easily figure that out by using the common difference. So if it's 3 when n is equal to 1, then we just have to go back and take away 2 instead of adding 2, and that would bring us to 1. And 1 is our 0 term when n is equal to 0. So we'd have 1 over here in the table. Then we can write our function, because we know that f of n is equal to the common difference, which is 2, times n, because that's how many times we're adding 2, plus what we started with, our 0 term. So you can label the 1, right, that's your 0 term. 0 term. 2 is your common difference. That's your common DIFF. And then our recursive is f of n is equal to the previous term plus the common difference. It's because you're adding 2 to whatever the previous term is. And then the last step in our recursive function is we want to also state what is f of 1, which is 3. Right? The very first term was n equals 1 is 3. And these are all the different ways that you can represent an arithmetic sequence.